just say this, is not trusting in yourself. That's not faith, okay? Faith is trusting in someone else. Specifically, it's trusting in Jesus. So faith is not constantly looking at ourselves saying, how am I doing? We like to do that, don't we? Faith is not constantly even examining ourselves, worried if we have enough faith. You ever do that? When you do that, you're turning faith into a work. And some people get so twisted up that we start to treat faith like it's a work that we have to just earn and white knuckle, right? They say we're saved by faith, but they're still placing all of the onus on themselves and end up treating faith like it's a work they must merit God's favor with. So let me just tell you about true faith. Faith does not lead us to look at ourselves. Faith leads us to look to Jesus, to trust in Jesus. One of my favorite quotes comes from Robert Mary McCheyne, who was a 19th century Scottish pastor, and he says, for every look at yourself, take 10 looks at Christ. I'm not sure 10 is enough, but I appreciate what McCheyne is saying. For every look at yourself, take 10 looks at Christ. The problem with so many believers and so many people who are struggling with faith is that instead of taking 10 looks at Christ, they're taking 10 looks at themselves and maybe a half a look at Jesus. Right? And when you do that, that's going to get you in a lot of trouble. Faith is looking away from ourselves and looking onto Jesus. Faith is trusting in Jesus. Faith is resting in Jesus. Faith is relying on Jesus. Faith is constantly looking to Jesus and pointing others to Jesus.